Hey, welcome to a special talk on collaboration and group work. What are the benefits of group work? You have opportunities to develop skills to work effectively with people. So working with people is unavoidable in almost all jobs, and you might even be hired if you have good people skills. Connections are important. They're one of the maybe the most important things you can do here while you're studying at your program at Halmstad University, is to try to make friends and network. Most things with high impact around us are built by groups. You can actually do more sometimes in a group, and it can actually be fun if you have uh, people who think like you in that group. You can also learn by teaching others. If you do something and tell your group about it, that's a good way to learn. That's the sort of the thinking behind seminars, as well as these techniques you see here. So are there any bad sides to group work? For sure. You might feel despair when you even think about group work. It can be one of the most stressful experiences when you're learning in education, and maybe in your job afterwards. It also reduces your chances to learn if other people are doing the work, you're not. So you don't get that experience, and you might have less chances to decide what you're doing, less autonomy. You might have to do more work and not get credit for it. So we try as much as possible to examine you individually, but often there's gray areas where we just don't know who exactly did what. Ringleman effect. This is one of these negative effects. People in groups tend to become less productive, and this relates to social loafing, social inhibition, and bystander effect, where people think this is not my thing to do. Somebody else will do it. Groupthink. It's a phenomenon where we see bad decisions made by groups because people say often what they think will be accepted, not what they might maybe really think. This can relate to also group polarization and echo chambers. So are we doomed? Is there nothing we can do? Of course not. The most important things to do, in my opinion, are listed here. You have to make sure in your group that the members understand that their parts are important and that others are not going to do them. That means that the most important thing is to divide your work so that, one person can work on this, another person can work on that, and that's very clear then. Then another incredibly important thing is respect and empathy for others. So that means trying not to harm others. If somebody wants something and it doesn't cost you anything, why not be a little bit flexible? Actor observer bias. People often think about others, if they see something bad, they think, oh, they're a bad person. But when they explain their own behavior, they talk about causes. So the context, I did this because it was really busy. So you can be aware of that bias. We can try to make a low pressure environment for your group members. To say it in a fancy way, this is this Yerkes-Dodson effect, where people don't work as well when there's high pressure. Perseverance and tolerance. Again, can be sort of, if you see something a little bit different from the way you do things, people want to talk more or whatever, you can try to be a bit tolerant of that. Communication is ultra important as well. You can have an explicit contract about who's going to do what, how you're going to meet, what roles people will play. Not assuming that other people understand what you want or think similarly. This becomes very clear to you when you start to do user studies and people don't think, these things that you think are obvious. Remember that you're not alone. If you have problems, consult with friends, consult with teachers, etc. Roles in IT. So in bigger projects, you can have different roles. Like one person might work on front end, another person might work on back end. You have full stack developers as well for like some type of program that maybe, or interface, some application that users might use. This might be, so front end is the interfaces, and then you have in the background maybe servers and databases, and you might be using different programs. You could use different words for this, like design and development. So user experiences rather than user interfaces and code. That's all for this session. I hope it was slightly useful for you. So what is expected for you at Halmstad University? Many of our courses involve group work. So please try to think about these things, that you know these phenomena exist and that you deal with it from the start in an effective way. Hoping you'll have a very good experience. See you.